Welcome back to the final chapter of the Valyrian series. Emperor Bathmat the Keen, Saviour of the World, I think is probably his official title now, having driven back the White Walkers last episode, finally destroying the White Walker himself, and eventually turning Westeros into an absolute patchwork blanket of a country. So I asked you guys last episode, what direction do we want to take this series? Do we want to maybe end the episode here? Do we want to, recolonize Westeros? Do we want to do something else? A lot of you guys seem pretty happy to carry on with the series, which, I'm more than happy to do myself, because I think there are some other things left to do here. One thing I'm not going to do, though, is retake every single Westerosi province. I think we can all agree that that would be very, very boring to watch. What I'm instead going to do is I'm going to try and capture a couple of powerful duchies in Westeros, say like King's Landing, say Old Town, generally one in each of the Seven Kingdoms, and we're going to let our vassals do the work for us. We're going to let those guys swallow up the rest of these countries without us having to get involved too much. A way I'd love to do it is setting up a bunch of different tributary states, because then they can call us into war, we can help them out, but it also means that we're not directly their vassal as well. That could be kind of fun, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The one thing I actually do want to focus on as our main goal for this series. We've never really had a super massive empire in a Game of Thrones. Obviously, we've had the Iron Throne, but even then, say that we've had the Iron Throne is a little misleading, because all we've really had is, like, 4 of the 7 kingdoms at any one point. Even in the Storm King series, we never actually grabbed most of northern Westeros, did we? Even in the series before that, say Top Bog Spoff, we only really got Yeeti and Ashai, wasn't particularly huge. In the series before that one, we had like Gogasos and then a little bit of Valyria there as the law religion. So I'm thinking, why not do something pretty crazy? In base game CK2, there is an achievement called Frasier is Long, which I believe is having basically all of the North Sea coast under one empire. We're going to do that, and we're going to scale up to 100. We're going to try and get the entirety of the southern Essos coast, running all the way from, what is this province called? Taiyi, would you pronounce that? All the way from Taiyi over to Tyrosh itself. We're going to run all the way from east to west, or west to east, I guess, in this situation. So, in Tyrosh is already ours, so this one already counts. We're going to work our way through. We're going to have to fight 2 of the most powerful empires on the map right now, obviously one of which is Yeeti, the other one is the Empire of the Eclipse under Top Bog Spoff. That's going to allow us to remove Top Bog as well, and it's going to give us some pretty hefty challenges, because there is very little now to challenge the might of Valyria. Top Bog has 108,000 men. Yeeti has a lot of troops. The only reason Yeeti looks so weak right now is because they're in a mega war. They're an empire level title, so they've split apart to fight their various wars. And then when they're done with that, they will all come back together as one big empire. So these are the 2 big sort of issues with our campaign here, but I would love to see a Valyrian empire literally spanning from one side of the globe to the other. In fact, we could go as far to say, grabbing something like Lonely Light as well and incorporating that into Westeros. That would be awesome. We could even go as far to paint the whole map, but I'm not going to do that, because I think that would get pretty boring. I think CK2 gets very boring up to the stage that you start painting the map, but I think having the entire coast would just be fantastic. That'd be very, very fun to do, just as a little goal here. There are still other things to, of course. We've still got other parts of Valyria to build up. We've got still laws to pass. We're still playing on Cognatic Elective, of all things. We need to set this up, primogeniture, so that we can go back to our meritocracy that we've got with our religion as well. We need to make sure that the religion is dominant and powerful and taking over most of Essos. To say that we're cosmopolitan, to have a moral authority of 84.6 is huge, because cosmopolitan gives it that minus 50%, so we're actually doing very, very well. And we also don't control 2 of our holy sites, so we should get Dragonstone next. That's a really good idea as well. In fact, we might want to even go as far to keep Dragonstone for ourselves, because that is, of course, a pretty significant part of Valyrian history, isn't it? Anyway, a lot to be doing still. I think we'll start with the idea of putting in a couple of vassals, sort of seeding Westeros with some Valyrian houses, Valyrian culture, and letting them conquer Westeros by themselves. As long as we set up a couple here, or as long as we give one dude a decent amount of land, they will spread very quickly throughout the 7 kingdoms. So I'm thinking we pick some very important sites. What if we go for, like, because to be honest, once we declare war, the rest are going to join us in a massive war anyway. I'm thinking we do something like this. Let's make sure all our levies are down. We could even start a retinue, and actually that was something I meant to talk about as well. I was thinking we just go for the smallest retinue possible. So these Dragon Guards are, Dragon Lord's Wrath, ridiculously powerful in terms of a retinue. 500 heavy cavalry, get 30% morale on a 30% attack bonus. That's fucking nuts. We don't need that. We've got a goddamn dragon. Any troops led by a dragon are going to be affected. To say that not only that, we're going to have a majority heavy infantry army as well. That's going to be very good. So we're going to go with the Guardians of Dragonstone retinue. Give 40% attack to archers as well to make them super effective. We're going to go for those because they're the smallest retinue cap. Build it the biggest retinue possible, and then we can just sweep through Westeros. Like, we, Dragon Rider, with a retinue, means we can go province to province to province without having to need to lower and raise our armies or declare loads of war simultaneously. We'll also hire some mercenaries to bulk ourselves out as well, and then we'll try and do that. Like I said, seed a bunch of lords, and then get to work. So for the time being, let's start with that. Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. So let's hire a couple of different mercenary bands here just to allow us to declare war. Merge those together as one unit. We've got, where are all our boats these days, huh? Where are they hiding out? Oh man, we've got so many boats. 1,088. I don't think I've ever had that many boats in CK2 before. Oh god, the rally points, they make me want to vomit. Please don't do that. Alright, what have we got then? We are looking for roughly 6,700 boats. In fact, there are exactly 69 the golden number votes coming in from Slaver's Bay there. So we'll just grab those, and then we'll put the rest of the ships down for the time being. So let's head off to Westeros with our mercenary and retinue band then. Now, what I'm thinking is, oh, a daughter, she's strong, and Helip again, of course. Why am I not surprised at this stage? It's not a big problem, is it, really? What is it, like diplomacy lowered or something like that? It's issued -1 diplomacy. That's really not a big deal at all. A little bit of an inconvenience, but actually not a problem. Utterly doomed. We're all completely and utterly doomed, Valane. I think I named a character that when we were trying to escape, weren't we, Westeros, when the White Walkers were first attacking before we went over to Last Lament, which we still got, man, throughout this entire campaign, we've still got Last Lament. That's fairly impressive. I believe that's our title that we've held the longest for the entire series now. Your talents will be useful here. So, let's start our sort of major invasion of Westeros. Aegon the Conqueror 2.0. Oh, man, it's a shame Sunspear's a ruin. Some of the best provinces are, unfortunately, ruins here. So, what we really want to do is, ideally, start moving troops over, wait until they're 1 day away, or at least incredibly close, which, of course, they are right now. Declare the war, Dragon Conquest. Tell me how the Civil Wars work. Land, and then kill them all. Now, they're not going to surrender for some absolutely insane reason with their 500 troops. But what we've seen before is all of Westeros generally tend to band together. All these separate warring warlords. I guess probably because they don't want another, you know, Valyrian king after all this time. That's the last thing they need. And then we do that, and then we've got ourselves a vassal. Now, I would love to revoke this title, or at least find a way to, how could we do that? Plot to kill. I mean, that's just gonna... Oh, because it's a planky town. It's a fuck... I should have gone for a feudal site. In fact, a lot of them are... Oh, there's a feudal site. Let's go for a feudal site. Obviously, we can inherit it. How would I revoke this from you at this stage? Let's be reasonable here. Honestly, don't know. If we raise him to nobility, then we could revoke the title, right? Or force him to... We can't even force him to rebel. Could just straight up revoke it, but obviously that would cause us 1 or 2 issues because we've got a truce. I see. I need to think about this a little bit more then, because that's sort of ruined my plan a little bit, because I was going to suggest, obviously, we land our own Valyrian vassals in place of... How did we get Summerhall, then? Or am I going insane? Oh, we already had a claim on Summerhall, didn't we? Right, okay, fair enough. Let's try this again, but with a feudal lord. So we go for, like, Mistwood instead, or we'll try and get Storm's End or something like that if we can. Yeah, Storm's End is viable. Let's go for Storm's End. See if we can revoke the title or force a feudal ruler to revolt instead. And of course, you got to bear in mind, House Valane is the descendant of the Storm God, so this is this is basically a homecoming ceremony. My god, I forgot we had Dragonbinder. Let's take a look. So, yeah, so we've got that Stormlander opinion +5 as well. That's cool. The fact that we're actually coming back to the Stormlands after all this time, literally like 2 series worth. They will honor their obligations, even though they don't really need to, let's be honest. And let's see if we can revoke this. Ah, okay, so we just straight up surrendered. Interesting. I mean, if we could just do the whole of Westeros with them surrendering, that would obviously be fantastic as well. That would really save us a lot of time. Actually, what we can do is we can put our boats down. We don't really need to keep picking up and dropping off the boats like that. Wait, because of enemy occupation in our territory. Yeah, I believe you on that one, my friend. Alright, so how do we revoke the title? Okay, but if we kill him off, then we've got in the Kingdom of the Stormlands. I don't believe we actually have that one, Chief. We don't have the Kingdom of the Stormlands. How can we grant him that? Oh, because it doesn't exist. Interesting. Okay, that's weird. And we actually... Okay, you know what? Let's just roll with it then. Cultural conversion in the Game of Thrones mod is actually impossible, so we'd have to land a Valyrian character, but they would never flip over from Stormlander. They would always be Stormlander, so in hindsight, I guess we could just rebuild it with a Valyrian Overlord, sort of like how the original Iron Throne was formed. So what I'm thinking then is we will... Is he a Frey or something? Why is that the Shipbreaker Bay? I guess because it was last owned by a Frey. Yeah, it was House Frey there, Narbert Frey. What we'll do is we'll very quickly get his duchy, give him the duchy level title, and we'll leave him at that, and we'll just seed a bunch of different duchy level titles and let those guys fight their own battles. They will easily be the strongest character in this area if we do that for them, right? We'll do the same for, like, Highgarden, we'll do the same for Casterly Rock, King's Landing, you know, where is it, River Run as well. All these different places, turn those guys into High Lords and just let them run wild on Westeros. They should easily be able to conquer it at that stage with an entire duchy under them. Alright, so we declared war against all 5 of the Lords of Shipbreaker Bay. Are they all surrendering? They are all surrendering. Wow. I wonder how much of Westeros we could paint doing just that, huh? Could we take the whole of Westeros in one video? Oh my god, I wish I'd never even entertained the thought, because this is going to get ridiculous. Why can't we make the High Lordship? Oh, because we actually have to directly own land there, don't we? We're his heir. Why are we his heir? Why do you... Oh, that's very odd. Okay, so that's made our lives a little bit easier then. Just kill this dude. Just give him Tainted Touch. We'll then play as this area, and we can make the High Lordship, give it to this dude, then we can just let him run butt wild. I would be very interested to see if we Dragon Conquested every single province in Westeros. Shall I do that? That's going to be absolutely insane, but I love the idea of going to war with every single fucking province and just seeing how many surrender to us. This is officially the worst idea I've ever had in Crusader Kings, and this is going to be a hell of a time-lapse. This is going to be a serious time-lapse just for me to be able to declare war on every single province. So, bear with. We're going to blitz through this. I'll put some fancy CK2 based music in the background. This is the worst idea I've ever had, but I love it. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. I don't think I've ever done anything this fucking stupid in CK2 ever before. And honestly, I don't think any of you have probably ever seen anything like this ever before in CK2. I sure as hell know that I haven't, and I've played this game quite a little bit. Holy shit. I mean, just look at this. It's almost unbelievable that the game hasn't completely crashed. What I'm even going to do here is quickly save the game so that in the event of us unpausing it crashes immediately, I don't have to click on provinces for another 20 solid minutes of declaring war. There are certain places that we just straight up can't declare war on. Places like Old Town, ruin. Places like Red Lake, ruin. The Twins are a ruin. Harlow Hill, even, is a ruin. There's a lot of places that have just been absolutely destroyed by the White Walkers that obviously we'll have to fund and rebuild. Places like Lannisport as well, like fairly important places. Beyond the Wall as well. I was actually going to declare war on everything beyond the wall, but we can't declare war on wildlings. I guess you can't get tribal holdings or something like that. This is something. This is going to be a mess. I am either going to unpause now, and we're going to see almost all of Westeros convert to our colour, or the game's going to think this guy's in 1,000 wars at once. Why the hell would we ever surrender? He can't possibly win that. At which point, I go from being extremely cocky about the situation to shitting everywhere all at once, copious amounts. Good God. Let's unpause. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Cool. 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 This could be good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Look at it. Look at it. It's working. Holy shit. Oh my god, it's actually fucking working. Come on. Is that it? Is that it? Wait, no, come on. No way is that it. You're shitting me. 8 provinces in Dawn and we've got to fight the rest? You're joking. So I guess because those were the first places I declared war on, I guess that after we got that many there, I thought, well, fuck it, there's no way in hell he can win this. And to be honest, they're probably not too far out. I'm going to call the Dothraki into every war. Oh my god. I don't know that CK2 was built for this. I feel like any second now my PC is going to burst into a ball of flames. Oh god. Okay, so all the independent countries in the world have joined coalitions in defense against us. That's funny. I could have sworn I turned defensive pacts off, but clearly not. This guy's been slain, so his lands are apparently just straight up ours now. They will honor their obligations, of course they will. Right, are we good? I think we're actually... Oh, God, there's another Raven. What the hell do you want this time? I think we're actually good to launch the war. I don't think there's any other people joining in coalition against us. Dothraki have agreed to join every single one of these wars. The Westerosi conflicts. This is going to be a mess. Luckily, even with 4,000 men, I think we've got enough. Where do we start? Should we finish with Dawn and head north? I think that's not a bad plan. I think we'll head to Dawn and we'll sort of grab whatever else we've got on the way, to be honest with you. We'll head through Dawn and we will Dragon Conquest every single one of these friggin' people. We can't make duchy level titles. That's my only concern. Are we going to end up with just like 100 vassals? Because the de jure lordship creation requires you actually holding a part of that de jure lordship to be able to build the province. I don't know how this will work, but it's going to be interesting either way. Dracarys, please don't get maimed, dragon. Oh my god, I don't think I can use the dragon on every single province because it's guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed to get maimed. Okay, you roll a 20-sided dice, you're gonna roll one. You know, quite frequently. That's a terrible metaphor. You know what I'm getting at. Okay, you roll a 100-sided dice. One is coming up eventually. Let's put it that way. They will surely honor their obligations. Of course they will. We're still mired in bureaucracy. There's still more shit going on as well. Oh my god, my PC is not... Look at this. Oh my god, I've never seen anything like that before. This could take a while. Hopefully you guys can... Oh, fuck, what is this? Westeros ravaged by the plague. Thanks. Very cool. How are we supposed to find the dude to force him to surrender? I'm going to have to right-click on him. I have to right-click and hopefully enforce demands. Okay, he's surrendering. It's going to make my life easier. Thank you. Can they surrender after the fact? I think it's only within the first 7 days that they can actually say, yeah, we'll surrender to your dragons, because clearly you've got this in the fucking bag. Luckily, almost all of Westeros is a complete shit tip, so we can just move in, assault it down, basically have that war finished, move on to the next province as they're moving, surrender this one out, etc. I don't think you guys want me to leave in every single province, me hitting the surrender button on, but, yeah, this is certainly going to be very, very interesting for me personally. I will do... Oh, there's another one gone. I will do a time-lapse, perhaps, of us very... This guy's surrendering. Very quickly going to every single province until we've swallowed it up. Because I feel like, even with this many troops, they're not going to be able to stand up to us. Even with this many provinces, they're not going to ally. And clearly all of them have about 30 troops each, and not to mention about 2 defenders. This is actually big news. All of our vassals have started to turn up. Now, the best thing is, all of these provinces have, like, look, 77 defenders. Some of these provinces, that guy has 65 defenders. This one has 89, 90 defenders. Even if our vassals send a pissy, tiny little amount of troops. I mean, normally I'd say, well, 500 troops, what the hell was the point of sending that? But in this scenario... They might actually be able to do a significant amount of damage. Oh my god, the High Septum is actually kicking our ass a little bit there. We've got to be quick. One thing I didn't consider is ticking war score. So we've got to be very, very careful that these guys aren't just going to win by the fact that we're taking so long to actually get up to them. So I'm going to have to dish out one of our first major titles here, and that is the Kingdom of Dawn, because we've literally got so much shit that I can't hold anymore. Can we even give this guy the Empire of Dawn? Oh, we can. Also, sorry, the Kingdom of Dawn. Even though he is... Oh my god, we just made Dawn into a massive merchant republic. I was just about to say that will probably cause us some issues, but there we go. Can make everybody into a merchant republic. To be fair, that's basically what Valyria was. That was the freehold after all. And they've joined, I hope, us as a mega war now. Somebody part of this mega war. Fingers crossed, otherwise that's going to be ridiculous if Dawn just got independent. But it makes it easier to Dragon Conquest again, huh? Alright, we've got another major moment here then. I finished tidying up, honestly, most of the reach. We still got some other provinces that I haven't quite got to yet, and then also most of the Stormlands. This guy is also surrendering, thank you very much. My god, this is a hell of a task. I didn't realize it was going to be quite this ridiculous in hindsight. So what we've got to look for well, no, not what we know with Dawn, are ideally High Lords. Oh, this guy is High Valyrian. How has that happened? I don't know. My friend... Kingdom of Rich is not involved in an ongoing war. Ooh, what do you mean? Kingdom of the Reach is not involved in an ongoing war. Have I got to finish tidying it up first? Well, we'll be able to find out in a second, because I am just about to finish tidying up the Stormlands first. I was going to grab King's Landing, and then head back west. I did very briefly split these armies up to try and speed things up a little bit, but it really didn't help out, because there are the occasional province that are quite well defended. There is 1 or 2 provinces here that do have like 400 or 500 or so defenders, which point I would use the dragon, but the dragon right now is friggin' maimed halfway through. Well, not even halfway through, let's be reasonable here. About a third of the way through this gigantic conquest. Some of them died. Now, the other thing to mention as well is various lords that drop down dead, we just inherit their shit. So, like this one up here, all the way up in Skagos. Obviously, we haven't been all the way up to Skagos, but if they die during a dragon conquest, one thing I should be doing is just tainted touching a lot of them. Why did I not think of that? When they die, we gain their lands. So what I'm now going to do is, I'm not going to click on every single friggin' province and tainted touch them all, but I am going to tainted touch as many as we can do during this first one. As many in the north as well, so we don't have to go all the way up there, ideally. Right, who have we not tainted touch? This small kid. Let's get you gone, and we'll see if this actually works, because if they get the plague, if they get rabies, that's -7 health. -7 health is going to kill, I mean, I'll be reasonable, like 80-90% of all the CK2 characters. That's being generous. I think it would most likely kill 95%, but we'll wait and see. We'll see how that do. Hopefully this works, because if it does, my god, is this going to be impressively quickly. You saw some guy there, Torrin Marsh died. I hope he suffers, I hope he suffers. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so when it says that, I hope they dance in his grave, that generally means that they're most likely going to die. Alright, let's see how that plays out. Yeah, there we go. So because we're not actually at war with any of the minor lords of the Stormlands there, we can just dish out the Stormlords. Now, what I'm being very careful is to give away as many vassals or create a kingdom at a time before expanding outside of that, because if we die, which we are kind of likely to soon, we're 60, so we're getting up there a little bit. We're not super old. We've got the Hunter focus. Is there anything that gives a flat sort of +1? No, it's not in this one. We want to be very careful about how we do this. Oh my god, I forgot we became a cannibal last time as well. Do you want to put in -15? Of course. We want to be very careful, because if we die over our vassal note, we will... There's a chance we can just lose whatever excess vassals we have. Same thing with the domain titles, which is why I'm just hitting this button occasionally. It's giving away some provinces in Valyria. It's giving away like our castles in Valyria and shit. I'll just revoke those after the fact. It is a lot easier to be pressing that button every sort of 10 minutes or so than it is to dish out every other title as the war's going on. Well, I literally ran out of time. Holy shit. That's actually unbelievable. We can't win these wars. Look at this. The last... Get out of here. Get out of here. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 provinces, maybe? My god, what an absolute mess that entire war was. Although it looks like a mess right now, I think we did a very good job. And it was very easy when the vassals actually turned up. Basically, all I had to siege was Dawn, Stormlands, Reach, Westerlands itself. How the fuck did you make the Iron Throne? What? King Lothar of the Storm Throne. How did you do that? I don't understand how he's done that by having just the Crown Lands. Okay. We'll cross that hurdle when we get there. That's hilarious. A very good game. Yep, clap. So what I actually did, which I'm now massively regretting, is I probably spent a good 20 minutes not only revoking that random title. You might remember KDIN_9161 blah. I revoked that one. I renamed it the Titular King of the Crownlands, gave it to this dude, and then individually transferred the vassalage of every single province, because we can't make high lordships unless you actually own it. This dude, as the ultimate slap in the face, is now called himself the Emperor of the Storm Throne. You piss demon. Right, we'll deal with that in a minute. Oh my god, my debt. Holy shit, these provinces are costing me. How are they charging? Oh, they actually can't take any more money from me. Come on, at least grab last half. Come on, it's right there. Was 92% on that one. I don't know why last half we took longer for us to grab, but this has basically been the entire war, literally turning up, assaulting the top level down, which has been about 40 dudes, and then that being the end of it. And what's this one? Liberation of Atlantis. That's actually it. So there were a couple of provinces I actually didn't grab in the end, mainly because time ran out, also because a lot of them sent me requests of white peace, and I was like, to be honest, we're going to run out of time anyway, so I might as well just go for it. Like, random places in, I think, the Vale as well have got independence, like Stonyhead, Greywater Watch somehow. Anyway, more to the point, that was the worst thing I think I've ever done in CK2 by far. By far. To put it into perspective now, it's 2:40 in the morning. I started recording this video at midnight. So I am sat here 2 hours, 10 minutes later, still recording this shit. It's this. That was unbelievable. What I should have done, and what a smart person would have done, and what you were probably screaming about at the start of this episode would have probably done, was declared 7 or so Dragon Conquests, wait for them all to surrender, 7 more, wait for those to surrender, 7 more for those to surrender. But my god, has that been an absolute challenge. Might be the right word for it. Okay, until next time, let's see our now finished empire. Good lord, this is an utter state, huh? And there we go. Oh my god. Reappoint the old council. Bring it all together. Bring it. I was honestly expecting a little bit more than that. There we go. Come on. We're just waiting for the Reach and Dawn to flip back under now. So we do still have the kingdom of... What have I still got to give out? Oh, I've got to give out... Oh, shit. I forgot about 2 of the Iron Islands as well. I actually set my vassal on these guys. I set a rally point and they went and dealt with it instead, which is apparently... Now the Vale... It was the Vale I set on them have part of that. Okay, we won't worry about that too much at all. So what can I make? We can make the High Lodge of Flint's Finger. We can make the Kingdom of the Iron Islands, but I think we actually need... We need to have 0 gold. Oh my god. Take out a loan. Take a loan from a vassal. We could... What have we got in our prison? We can ransom out 1 person. Banish you. I might sell the slave camps. I honestly could be persuaded. We get 10 gold per month. Shit, and that's because we're so far over our vassal limit, isn't it? And then we're going to make the Kingdom of the North as well. I don't believe that he can make the freaking Kingdom of the 7 Kingdoms, because that's what this is before it was called the Storm Throne. The 7 Kingdoms out of just the Crown Lands. That's so annoying, especially because this is the dude I landed. I mean, look at that. You can see that I've individually transferred every single different vassalage to him there as well. The Lani Loyalist plus 30. You've named yourself a rival emperor, you shit. One thing I forgot to mention as well, you might remember I blasted a load of the Northern Lords with sort of dark magic. What the fuck happened to Crockpot? Silent monster. Oh god, she died and she was resurrected by an alchemist. And she's our heir. Or at least was. Oh shit, that probably means we're losing the goddamn election. Cognatic Gavelkind. Wait, what? Who the fuck is Lord Toaster? My son? He's a dragon rider. So why the fuck is that flipped over to Cognatic Gavelkind? And what's this one? Cognatic Elective. So we're going to lose the Empire of New Valyria, inverted commas, which to me means destroy. Oh, because... Right, okay, never mind then. Weird. So there's going to be a rival... So we're going to split the Empire no matter what then, is what you're telling me. Because this is... Wait, what? Surely... How would that work? I don't know. We'll worry about that later. That's tomorrow's problem. Good God. Okay, so I sold a bunch of slave camps. Also, what was the other point I was making? Yeah, that was it. So I used a bunch of dark magic on the Northern Lords, and that's actually corrupted him quite heavily as a lunatic, possessed, and stressed. Depressed he got from something else. Probably from that. This whole thing's made me friggin' lunatic, stressed, and depressed as well. So I'm not entirely surprised that Bathmat is barely hanging on here. 65. Look at him. When we started off this, he looked like genuinely a little bit like Chuck Norris, and now he looks like Jeremy Corbyn after he's melted. Let's deal with our titles now. I'm sorry, my brain is completely fried after this. It might not have seemed much to you guys, because hopefully I've done that time-lapse to a half-decent degree where it's been watchable. But 2.5 hours has gone on. It's been 2.5 hours of tedium. So I've sold a bunch of slave camps as well, by the way, which is why the option to buy more slaves. I think I sold 3 levels of it just then. We'll go and check on Valyria quick. Yeah, we're only at 20% now. Sold 3 levels. We're back out of debt. More importantly, I can now create our kingdom level titles and give that shit away. So Iron Islands... Although we didn't get everything, they'll tidy it up themselves, huh? Castle, so we're looking for, is there any decent promises here we could give some land to that isn't feudal? Sorry, that is feudal. Of course not. Of course not, why would they be? Oh, what was that guy? No, he's a republic. Sure, you know what? There you go, you can have it. You're close enough to Winterfell. Have the Kingdom of the North. You're welcome, my friend. Alright, and then who else we got? We got the Iron Islands. Who deserves that? Irondale is a cool name. You know what? I'm going to go for you. How's Burrows? Does he like me? Minus 99. What about you? Minus 100. All right, then. You're the better choice. There you go, my friend. The Iron Islands are all yours. Use them. 61. Why? Probably because we ate a man. Yeah, cannibal is minus... Lack of funds minus 30. Oh, because that hasn't disappeared yet. Right. Okay, there we go. What do you think of me now? There we go. Dothraki Horse Lord Hezo. Drive the savages from the realm. What do you think? I mean, it would look a lot nicer if, the Reach wasn't in a massive rebellion and if we didn't have friggin' rival Emperor Lothar II. You can piss off. I'm a little bit annoyed by this as well, but plot to kill 50%. Oh my god. What can we do with you? What can we do with you? Nothing. I guess we'll just drop our spy master there and now. I mean, we could Dragon Conquest him, but obviously that would be minus 10 developing with all the Westeros. Oh, sorry, minus 25. And we'd be a truce breaker, which is what, minus 5 diplomacy as well. Claim the Crown Lands for Coroner of the Crown Lands, at which point we can vassalize him. I think we'll just wait until we can kill him and then just go for his daughter instead. This one is probably going to take me quite a while to edit, so I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you all for watching. Next episode, we'll get into a bit more of the standard CK2 gameplay, a little less of the heavily crazy time-lapse stuff. I just thought I'd do something a little weird and wacky with one of these episodes, and then we'll go straight back to our regular sort of... like I said, the idea of going east to west is definitely something that would be very, very fun. Let's give a shout out to the insane top tier level patrons who made this series possible in the first place. This episode, unfortunately, they also made possible too. Thank you to Alpha Scuff, Asuna Kirito, Atmosis, Average Gamer 419, Bacon Kitten, Blurry Bunny, Sidini, Crazy Pat, Crosis, Demon Daenerys, Donald, Facundo Vasquez, Fungus King, Gogolus, Harik, Jimbo, Josh Lendy and Tesla, Justin Wallace, Caden Carter, Michael Mullen, Mr. Smug, Muskratful, Nathan Flores, Necrophilin, Pelvis Presley, Skaz, Circle the Swedes, Stannis Manis, Toby Cruz, Tom Terror 18, Tyler Kendall, Vacuous Bacchus, and Zazzy7011. Thank you for your support, the insane tier levels on Patreon. Thank you for making the channel possible in the first place. Thank you for making this episode possible. Although, actually, I'm not really sure I want to thank you too much for that. My God, I'm losing my voice at this stage because I've been recording for that freaking long. Thank you as well to Acero, Adam Person, Akari, Andrew Wilson, Arachnid44, Ben Trope, Betimus Max, Better Valerian, Chris, David Van Diepen, Don, Connie2 and 7, Fraser Brennan, Gabriel Faulkner, Gabriel Van Ders, Gaz, GDWK Run, Gray, Haji Damar, Hancock, Icewallow, Com, I See the Great, Israel, Jay Lara, James Barnes, Jose, Joran DeVries, Jessica Smith, John Holiday, Johnny No, Jordan Campbell, Joseph Beard, Justin Plott, Justin Walters, Lasme, Llewellyn Thomas, Luke Wallace, Matthew, Marcus, Monty, Nathaniel Lindbergh, Nick, Noah Gallimore, Pantamid, Panther Pearl, Babette 1 through 7, Peyton Denisar, Russian Oligarch, Billionaire, Shari, Smirtworm, 16 Deer 888, Talar, The Insane Pickle, The Forsaken One, Wesley Grayson, Will Wade, Wolfie, Yorkus, and Zico. See you guys tomorrow for a bit more of traditional CK2.